Hello, and welcome. Guys, this is not a typical episode. I am supposed to be recording right now a new episode. No, let me re-say that. A new episode was supposed to release at 7:30. Some of you may have been like, why did an episode not release? Well, it's the exact reason that what's going on Capitol Hill right now in Washington, D.C. This isn't cool. This is not good what's going on. What happened to our nation? What is happening to our nation at this moment as I speak? I needed to go live. This is an emergency broadcast. This is serious, guys. This is not good. We have tons to talk about. Actually, it's interesting. We have tons to talk about, but it's not going to be the longest episode yet. It's interesting because it'll get repetitive. But we've got a lot to talk about. We got my cousin GLAZE here. I'll introduce in a second. So we've got a lot to go over, guys. So yeah, roll the intro.
Hello and welcome to the Perez Show, where we talk about current news, politics, and random stuff. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And now, your host, Noah Perez.
Alright, guys. So, like I said, we have a lot to talk about today. Pretty much the same stuff, though, so not very long of an episode. I want to hear some opinions, though, so that's why I called in on my cousin GLAZE. You want to come on in?
Hey, it was good. I got a new mic, so that's why I sound better.
Yeah.
Not like I'm in a meat grinder.
Okay. I want to get first to the, like I said, what we're talking about, which is what's going on Capitol Hill. And just in case you don't know, let me quickly explain. Basically, it's January 6th, okay? Today is January 6th, right? Am I right? Or is today the 5th? Yeah, today's the 6th, right? I don't even... Yeah, okay, so today is January 6th, Wednesday, January 6th. And they are officializing, basically, the thing about President Trump not going to be the president. And they're officializing President-elect Joe Biden to be the next president of the United States. And so then, some Trump supporters, who are very, very Trump supporting, came in and were like, no, they're just like, no, you're not going to make him the next next president. They're like, no, President Trump is going to stay the president whether you like it or not. But then our police is like, this isn't going to happen. So then they started trying to block it, and then the senators had to stop to address this, and same with President Pence. I want to say give President Pence props for addressing it. The vice president addressing it before our president has even addressed it yet. As he has recognized it, but he's sending mixed messages by saying he loves them and saying we appreciate you, but then he's saying time to go home, but then yet he's saying we love you. So he's not really doing this very good. And then the Democratic Mattis is saying the United States, quote unquote by the way, the United States will overcome this stain, while Trump will deservedly be left a man without a country, he wrote.
Excuse me, but one thing that I noticed is someone died during these, quote, protests. Someone literally got shot and died. That's crazy. And Trump is, I don't want to be biased here, but Trump is supporting all these pretty much riots. I'm not going to say riots, but they're kind of riots.
No, you don't need to. No, they are riots. Whether you are a Trump supporter or not, even those people who are storming the Capitol have to admit that whether they say we're doing patriotic things, it's a riot. Whether you're doing it, trying to do it for a patriotic way, or trying to save someone that you love, which is Trump in this situation that they love. Whether you like it or not, it's a riot.
But notice how he didn't support anything, how he didn't support the Black Lives Matter movement. None of that. He was not having any of that. and then where a protest where people died. One of, like, I think someone in there, either the Capitol
Yeah, it was.
or outside, died. And he's like, oh, yeah, this is great. This is a great protest. We
No,
love you.
hold up. Yeah.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. One of the things actually is, I'm pretty sure. No, I'm gonna here. You can continue. Sorry for interrupting you.
I have nothing else.
Oh yeah. So to me, this is really sad. Because I can understand being sad and hurting that your president was not elected. And I understand that's bad. But okay, so it's hard to say. But this was a riot. And I understand hurting and being sad that the person you wanted to win, the person you voted for, the person you put time into to go support him, the person you posted on social media to get elected because you support him or her. But when they don't win, I get you will hurt. But to go do something like this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. This has never happened in history. Or if it has, it hasn't happened in a long time, which shows how sad this is. And I'm not going to go on here and rant about every bad little thing that Trump has done that I don't agree with. I'm not going to come here and rant. As a person myself, I don't necessarily support Trump. Even as a Republican, I don't support Trump. I do support other Republicans, and I do very much agree with them, but I'm not going to agree with this president. But that's not my point. This episode isn't for me to rant about how much or what I dislike about Trump. This episode is to not necessarily go straight to Trump. Part of this, I believe, is Trump's fault, a big part of it, because of the things he has said, the things he has tweeted, and stuff like that. But this mainly is to the rioters and to those people who are hurting. This isn't a direct message to say, what the heck is wrong with you? Is there something mentally wrong? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to say, why in God's name would you do that? And I understand why you would do it. I don't think that it was right, but I'm trying to help you almost, and trying to understand and interpret for the people who don't agree with you and those people who think you're crazy. I am trying to help you. I'm not here to attack you. I'm here to help you. And that woman who died today, many are blaming Donald Trump, and I understand. And many are blaming these riots on Donald Trump because of the things he has tweeted, like I said. And now they're calling this domestic terrorism. And part of it is. It kind of is. And regardless of what side she was on, she lost her life fighting. And it was actually one of the things that people are kind of intrigued about was she was fighting for him. She was under his side. She was a protester or a writer. And so this is pretty sad that and now one of the things that makes it harder for us is that now they may use this as a war cry or as a calling message to say, this lady died fighting for us, so we will not stand quiet while people die supporting what we do. But the reason why I don't agree with that, first of all, I don't agree with this riot in any part of it. I don't agree with any part of it. I can agree hurting and being sad and disagreeing. I don't think the election was stolen. I think there was fraud. I think there's fraud in every election. I just don't think there was enough to change what happened in the election. And the transfer of power between presidents is supposed to be peaceful. That's what it's always been about, being peaceful. By these men and women who stand up in court and say, not court, but on the Capitol and say, whether they were on opposite sides, they are not enemies, and they stand together and say, this is going to be the new president. We appreciate everything that the other president has done. We hate everything that he did bad, but we appreciate him. And we're going to say, hand off the baton to the new president. And that's how it's supposed to be. whether you agree with it or not, that is how it's supposed to be. That's what the written rules say. That's what the books say. The history books, every single book for the last two centuries, we've been able to do that nicely. But why does it come till now, till this very year, 2020, that we can't do this peacefully? This just happens to suddenly change. Things like that just don't suddenly change. And this is why a lot of people are saying President Trump started this. This is because of President Trump. Like I said, if you're just tuning in at this very second and you hear me saying, this is because of President Trump, like I said, I'm not attacking Trump. I'm just saying what other people are saying, and then I'm saying my opinion. So if you're tuning in, we're just talking about what's happening on Capitol Hill at this very moment, as I speak. So this has never happened in history before, and it just suddenly happens. This is because, as some people are saying, this is because of our president. And I agree it partly is. A big part of it is. One of the things I want to address quickly, and then Glaze, I'd like to hear your opinion on this. But if this is not just, I can understand a protest going out there with your flags and being like, trying to stop it, not stop it, but like kind of say your opinion there, trying to suppress it, trying to show them how many people disagree. But then, I can understand that. But then once you turn it into a riot, and you start pushing up there, and they have to have their police up there, the Washington, D.C. Metro Police, they have to be standing up there guarding with riot shields. And you might be, if you just looked at that scene, what would you think? If you didn't know no background evidence to it, no context, you just look at that, you'd probably think this is something bad. Somebody did something really, really bad. Something bad happened, and so now there's tons of backlash, riots. This could be a fallout. And that's what you might think when you see this. But the truth behind it is that a new president they're trying to get to officialize the votes, finally officialize it. And then you think, wait, what? Imagine if somebody 5 years ago were to look at this and they'd say, wait, what are you doing? They'd say, why are they rioting over that? Why are some of these people having guns? These protesters. Why are they trying to storm the building, the Capitol building? What? They'd be wondering, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And that's what many Americans are thinking today. But a lot of them are self-answering, and I understand this answer. I kind of self-answered it myself. Because of President Trump. Because of what he said. He provoked this. He tried to pull them to do this almost. He started it. And that's what I started to, and I think that's partly of it. But then there's also those people that don't understand when they've lost. And I'm sorry that your person lost, but that's the truth. How do you think people felt when President Trump was elected in 2016? Democrats, how do you think they felt? I don't think they felt great. Do you think they were like, oh yay, new president, and it's President Trump, the guy we didn't want at all? What do you think? I don't think it was good. I'm pretty sure there were protests, but I'm pretty sure they didn't try and storm the Capitol building. And if I'm wrong, please correct me on that, because I don't know. I'm not sitting here Googling every little thing I'm saying. My point is, I don't think that happened. I don't know, though. Correct me if they did try and storm the Capitol building. Just correct me, because I don't think that happened. But if it did, please correct me. I'd like to know. So my point is, sometimes you have to admit when you've lost. And the more you try and push against it, just shows the weakness in our nation. When other countries see what's happening to our nation, they think, America's so weak. Look at America. Look what they're doing. They look so stupid. Those darn Americans. It's like, this is sad. This happened. This happened with the Black Lives Matter. We have racial injustice. A lot of countries do have racial injustice. The All Lives Matter, I believe All Lives Matter, that will be controversial, because if you were to say that at that time, you'd be considered racist by some people. I don't think it's necessarily racist, but we're not going to get into that. The point is, there was racial injustice, and I think there still is in many countries, I'd say, many countries. But the way we handled it showed how weak we are. It didn't, because never mind, let me retake that. I don't think we are weak. It made us look weak. It made us look like, that we can't handle our own problems. We have to have the police in there, the military, trying to defend us. Because when this happens, when we have people storming the building, we have to have police in there over something that the books say we have to do, something that the law says. And we're trying to fight the law 200 years after it was written, or whatever, 100 something. And we're trying to do this over one president. This didn't happen 4 years ago. No, it didn't. The Black Lives Matter. We couldn't handle it right. We had a president who was just calling on the military because somebody was trying to protest. Just because of that, we had the military called on us. The way this president has handled things is not good. When that Black Lives Matter happened, he did not handle it well. He called on the military when he shouldn't have. I understand there were riots, but before the riots, even when we had peaceful protests, he called on the military. But now when we do need the military, when we need the police to defend us, he doesn't call on the military. And if you look back at that, why is it? It's because he supports them. It's because of what he supports. So it comes down to what he supports. If he supports these men protesting that he is elected again, he's not going to call on the military because he wants them to stand there. He would do it himself if it didn't make him look bad, or if he wasn't in danger. He would go there himself. But in the Black Lives Matter, he wanted to defend the police, and I understand. I want to back the blue. I want to make sure these police guys are good. But at that point, he didn't want to protect. He only wanted to protect them. He didn't want to protect the normal American citizen. And that gets really controversial. My point is, it's only if it helps him out in the end. If it's not helping him out, then, he doesn't care about it. But if it helps him, great. That's amazing. Let's help him. That's what he would do. Help himself. Why do you think he's pardoned some of the people that he's pardoned? Because they support him. I'm pretty sure he hasn't pardoned anyone who doesn't support him. I don't think that's happened. And then Mike Pence, like I said, I want to give props to him because the fact that our vice president, who I feel like rarely speaks, like I really don't hear Mike Pence that often unless he's like campaigning for Trump. Like I said, he only calls on people when it benefits him. And one of the things with Mike Pence is he seems like, because he's been silenced for a long time, I feel like he is more of an independent man than he is with Trump. He very kind of stays silent, but he doesn't really have much of an option. But, like I said, this has come down to very hard times because of something stupid. Something stupid this has happened. And Mike Pence, like I said, I want to give props to him because he, our vice president, who doesn't seem to speak often, was able to recognize an issue and said, this is not right. I don't support this. And said this before our own president, the one who's supposed to be in charge, the one who speaks the most. He speaks a lot when he probably shouldn't sometimes. Before he was able to do it. And I don't even think he really has. He's accepted that this is happening. But has he really said that he's, helping it? And then, it's just kind of crazy. Everything that has happened in this one day, as they are breaching it's sad. As they're breaching through the Capitol building. If you go and look at photos right now, there are men that you would look at that are wearing bulletproof vests. Some of them outside have guns. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with guns, but the fact that they're trying to protest. They've got these huge Make America Great Again flags, and they're just throwing them up in the air inside the Capitol building. It's sad. There's, Secret Service. There's guards out there that are having to put things against the wall. And police are having to stand with guns drawn. And there's photos of them. They're right behind a barricaded door, and you can see brick powder on that barricade because of what's happening. They're trying to break in, and you can see them. They've got their guns drawn. They're ready. This is bad. This is bad. And this it's insane. Why is this happening? There's people who are climbing the walls, who are getting onto the balconies to get inside the building. At what cost? At what cost? At this cost? It's those politicians. What would happen once they got inside that building? What would they do? I'm not going to be here and say, oh, they're trying to kill everyone. I don't know that that's what's happening. I'm wondering what would have happened. I'm not saying let's see what played out. I'm glad that didn't happen yet, or it hasn't happened. They haven't been able to successfully break into the chamber yet. They've been able to break into the building, which is insane. It's sad what's going on. It's sad. This makes America look weak and look that we can't handle things the right way, and we can't do orderly law and pass on to the next president. Because we have those who are just saying, no, I was elected. And we have those that are saying he was elected and the election was stolen. And then it's one thing to think the election is stolen. First of all, like I said, I don't think the election was stolen. But it's one thing to do that. It's another to try and force that. That's a whole nother thing. Now I want to hear your opinion, Glaze. What do you think about this?
So, honestly, I think this is really stupid. Like, this makes us look like a bunch of babies. This makes us look like we're weak and feeble. Right now, we're having a civil war in America. Mm-hmm. And then there's really, like, three sides. There's kind of three sides. There's two sides, the Democrats and the Republicans, which we shouldn't be divided by just two groups. We shouldn't be divided at all. We should just be, people that are together. That's what America is.
I disagree.
People that come together.
I disagree.
We shouldn't be fighting like freaking like this. This is pathetic. This is stupid. And then also, so there's the Democrats and the Republicans, and then inside the Republican Party there's also civil war happening there. It seems like the Republican Party has been gridlocked by Trump. It's been two people. There's two types of people. There's the people who think that the election was rigged and that Trump should have won. And then there's people who think, let's just settle down, Joe Biden won the election.
All right.
And it seems like most people are thinking that Trump won, which I think is false, because there's no proof that Joe Biden cheated in the election.
Hold up. I want to say address a few things you said, because I disagree with a few of them. I agree with what you're saying, that this shouldn't be happening and that it's kind of stupid. I don't agree with that we should all be one group, because if that happened, then it'd be worse what is happening. It's good that we have two groups, so then we can...
I know that we have two
hold on.
We're fighting too much in these two groups.
Yes. Here, can you let me speak? Thank you. So, I think... yeah, like you said, I'm glad that we have two groups because it helps us say everybody's opinions. And it's not the two groups itself. It's the people who support these two groups. But this all comes back to those two groups. And right now, those two groups, one of them, which is the main issue right now, the Trump whole administration is a hot mess. And that all comes down to Trump, the things he has said. So like I said, I think this all loops back around to him. In any way that you support him or not, this all loops back around to Trump himself. And I don't... what was that last thing you said? I'm trying to remember. Jeez.
It seems like the Republican Party's gridlocked.
There's
two sides, one Joe Biden, one Trump.
Yeah, so first of all, yeah, like you said, they're gridlocked. Some of the Republicans, most of them by now, have come around and are like, Trump, I'm sorry, but there was no widespread voter fraud. Obviously, there was probably voter fraud. There's probably voter fraud every election, just not enough to change it. And that's what widespread voter fraud is, enough. There wasn't enough to make a difference. And they've never gone in and had to investigate this much. In any election, they've had to investigate, but not this much that they've had to do. They didn't have to have protests in any other election. That's never happened. I don't think that's ever happened. But it's interesting because I'm a Republican, and some may not agree with me. I have very set opinions that it's hard to change mine. But one of the things that can change is my opinions on the way the politicians are. And this is in the sense that I feel like there are some good politicians. No, I think all politicians are necessarily good people. It's just how good of people are they, and what are they doing to it? Are they helping us? Are they not helping us? It's always hard to see. But I want to say, first of all, if you're a Republican, I understand why you're hurting. I'm not sad necessarily, as I'm not really a pro-Trump. I'm not pro-Biden though, definitely not. Like I said, I don't think this was the right way to say your opinion. I think the protests at the beginning, the peaceful protests, just having your flags out there and trying to show your opinion, show everybody what you're doing. But the second that you tried to break in, that's when all hell broke loose. What I mean by that is several chain of events have happened since then that are not good. And so if you go back and you see, obviously this caused it. Trying to break in. A lady died today because of that. Trying to support that. Trying to support that. Whether she wanted to break in or not. She was stuck in that mob. I don't know if she wanted to break in. She might have just wanted to be there to support. I don't know. But she died today. And that's still because of what she was supporting. It'd be interesting to see her opinion now that she's dead. Does she still support that? Does she still support being there? Does she still support that now that she's dead? It'd be interesting to hear. Does she still support trying to break in? I understand. She might still support thinking that the election was stolen and still supporting protesting. But does she support breaking in? I don't know. But that happened. When they tried to break in, that lady died. It's like I said, I feel like some of these things have only because of they impact Trump and they help him. When he backed the blue, he was backing the military, and that doesn't necessarily help him. Not the military, but the police also. Or mainly the police. But that doesn't necessarily impact him. So he was just supporting the police. But now that he doesn't need the police and he doesn't need the military to fight these guys, he needs his supporters. He's not calling on he's not calling on like the guard, what's the word? I can't think of what it is, sorry. But he's not calling on the police. He's loves the National Guard, excuse me. He's not calling on the National Guard. He's not calling on the police to go stop him. He says, I love what you guys are doing, but it's time to go home. So that's sending mixed emotions, because people are saying, oh, he loves what we're doing, I guess we should keep doing it. But then he's saying we should go home. So what is he saying? And his actual Twitter account has been was muted basically for 12 hours. Twitter muted it because he was spreading dangerous rumors, as they said. I think it was. But this is not right what's going on. Whether you're a Trump supporter or not, if you're a hard right, very, very hard right, then you actually might like what's going on. But most Trump supporters now are like, this is sad what's come to it. I have actually, I think, a few Trump supporters of people I know that support Trump that are actually listening to this podcast live, and I don't think that they agree with what's going on. They might. I don't know. It'd be interesting. I want to hear what they have to say. I actually want to hear y'all's opinion. If you guys have an account with Spreaker, please sign up if you don't already. This is where I go live, so you can listen to my episodes the second they come out, and when I go live, you can listen. Please create an account, and if you create an account, you have access to the live chat. I want to hear y'all's opinions. I really do. I truly do. So please, if you have an account, please, I want to hear your opinion. One of the things that I'm really sad about right now is something I just saw on Politico's website. It was by, it's live actually right now, the Electoral College fight, as they're talking about. But Derek Evans. Do you guys know who Derek Evans is? I doubt you guys do. Well, you might. I don't know. But Derek Evans is he's a member of the West Virginia House of Delegates. But he was just sworn in, like recently, very recently. But actually, he's one of the ones who is storming the U.S. Capitol. He actually took a video of himself and other supporters. This guy's a politician with the Republican Party. One of the politicians who took video of himself and other protesters breaking in. This video shows them as they breach in. And actually, if you go to his Twitter profile right now, it's just blank, completely blank. It says, account suspended. Twitter suspends accounts which violate the Twitter rules. This is insane what's going on. They're having to suspend accounts because of the things they are doing. And this is sad. And if you search up Trump, the top things aren't his account. If you go to people, of course, his is the top thing. And then it says, if you go down to the thing he said, it says, this tweet is no longer available because it violated the Twitter rules. This tweet is no longer available because it violated the Twitter rules. This is sad what our country has come to. That we have to have a protest because people don't agree. And no, not a protest. I understand a protest. A riot. Let me say that. A riot. We're having a riot because of that. When I was on lunch break, I was in my school, and I saw that they were doing their stuff. What's it called? They're doing this, officializing it, and I was like, oh, that's interesting. They're actually officializing it now. Cool. I'm like, I wonder, but I was like, wait. I know a lot of people don't agree with this. They're not just gonna let this happen. And then I realized there's supporters. There's supporters against there's Trump supporters. And I'm like, huh. That's interesting. That'll be, I wonder what's going to happen. I didn't know that there was going to be a riot. I didn't know within hours that there was going to be a riot, that there were going to be people breaking in. There were going to be people going into the building, trying to get in there. And I can understand being hurt. Like I've said this many times. I can understand being hurt. But to do this, I don't agree with it in any way. If this was, I actually like a few Republican candidates who have been presidents before, and I've liked some a lot. I'm not going to get into that right now, but let's say it was my favorite one there. I still wouldn't do that. I would never do that. I wouldn't do this because I don't agree with it. And then you might be sitting there as one of those Trump supporters. And I haven't really included you much in this episode, and I want to include you guys. That's why I'm trying to see your view now. Like I've said, I understand if you're hurting because the person you like didn't get elected. That's happened many times before. But nothing like this has happened. There are more Trump supporters and more people who are trying to take over the building than there are people who are politicians trying to do orderly and officialize this. And I understand disagreeing with it, but going this far to try and stop it is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. Whether you like Trump or not. You have to think, is this acceptable doing something like this? Think about that. What if Trump was in office and this was because Biden didn't get elected? Think about that. And I'm not here to go protect Biden, like try and protect him as like he's my child. No, I'm here not to protect Biden, but to protect our country. I'm not going to be here and sit here and I'm like, I'm some patriot. I mean, I'm trying to understand what you're thinking. But if Joe Biden had lost this election, and these were Democrats protesting, liberals and Democrats protesting, how would you feel? How would you think? What would you think of these guys? Would you be like, oh yeah, let's let them do it. Why don't they break in? Yeah, they should do that. That sounds great. Let's do that. Would you think of that way? Would you think of it that way? Because you're against them. Would you think of it that way? And that's why I'm not here saying, oh, I can't believe these people are doing that. Well, I am saying that, but I'm not like these people should be punished or that this is horrible. Well, it is. I keep contradicting myself. But I'm trying to understand what you guys are feeling. and when I say you guys, I don't just mean normal Trump supporters. I mean these people who have come and trying to break into, and not trying, who have broken into the Capitol building. I don't think this is acceptable in any way. I don't think this is acceptable because this is not right. This hasn't happened anything like this before, at least in my life, or I hope nothing else like this happens in my life, knock on wood. But this is unacceptable, I think. And the fact that one of the politicians of West Virginia, the fact that he literally posted a video of him, the fact that he posted a video of himself breaking in, it's insane. I don't understand how's that possible. That one of the people that we trust, one of the people who are making laws for us, I can understand supporting that if you're like very pro-Trump, and understand supporting that. But the fact that he actually directly did that, I don't get that. That he was one of the politicians. I don't understand that at all. He being happy that he was breaking into the Capitol. What are they thinking is going to come from that? I'm not like doing this and I'm making fun of them, making a mockery of them and saying, what do they think is going to happen? No, I'm actually curious. I actually want to know. What do they think is going to come from that? Because it'd be interesting to me it'd be interesting to know what you think is coming from that. Because if you think that you're going to be able to make laws all of a sudden because you're sitting in like Leader Mitch McConnell's seat, that doesn't make sense to me. That doesn't resonate to me. I would like to know what you think is happening. And the fact that people are going in next to statues inside the Capitol building, next to famous statues that have been there for over a century at least. And you putting a Trump flag into that statue's hands? I don't understand. Even if you're a pro-Trump supporter, I do not understand. What makes you think that's okay? What makes you think that's okay to break into that building while they're having law? And they're just doing normal, day-to-day law work. But it comes to this one thing. Because if you look back at past elections, there have been protests when this happens. But it's never gotten to anything like this before. And I don't understand why. And that's why I want to know. What makes you think that this is okay? I'm literally curious. Because I don't think it is. And the fact that a lady died because of it doesn't make sense to me. The fact that this lady died supporting this. She was actually with the pro-Trump supporters going to it. And I'm actually looking at my live chat right now, and I have people, I actually see things that say you're talking bad. I have, from my different live resources, I have a few different websites I'm live on. And I see things that some people are like not really saying anything, but then there's others who are saying you're wrong, and I understand. And it's kind of sad because when I go live, I understand there's people that are going to disagree with me, people that aren't going to accept what I'm saying. But this is the truth. Whether you like Trump or not, this is the truth. Our country has come to a horrible place right now. A sad place. And this is going to go down in history as one of the worst non-peaceful elections, ones where they couldn't just do this. And then you might blame it on the coronavirus, but this was not because of the coronavirus. Last time I checked, they didn't mention the coronavirus when they were breaking into the Capitol. They didn't mention it. They weren't like, oh yeah, this is because of the coronavirus. No, it's because they think that the election was stolen. And like I said, there probably was election fraud, but not much, like not a big enough amount to make a difference in what happened to this election. And I think it's kind of sad. Not kind of. No, I think it is sad that what's happening. Everybody thought 2021 was going to be a great year. Look how it started in our country. Look how it just started already. It's already started. Like I said, that Derek Evans, he took video of himself, the lawmaker, and all of a sudden now, his Twitter account just got suspended. This is crazy. Why is this happening? Why is this happening in our nation? I can understand in some other nations that don't have as good law. I can understand. But something like this has never happened. I don't understand. And I keep repeating myself, but it's because it's a actual question. Why? Why do you think this is okay? Why do you think this is okay? And this John F. Harris, I've talked about him a lot. I like some of the stuff he posts on Politico, some of his news. One of the things he said is Trump's America. Ooh, I need to mark this episode as explicit, by the way. I have to mark this as explicit, but Trump's America becomes one of those shithole countries. And when he means that, he doesn't mean it's become one of those poor third world countries. No, he means one of those countries like, what was that country? I forgot the name of it, but there was a country earlier this year that they literally snuck in an election. They literally had an election hidden. They just went and the president of that country with his security team just went and he self-nominated himself for the president again. So no, they didn't do it on national TV. They didn't try and show it to the whole country and the whole world. They did it hidden so they couldn't stop him because it's corrupt. And that's what our country has come to. And I think this is pretty sad that we've come to this. And like I said, I want to give Vice President Mike Pence props for realizing and recognizing this before our own president was able to do something like this. I think that's pretty cool that he was able to do that before our president was. Like I said, it's not a good thing what's happening here, but it's better that our president, that he was able to do that before our president was able to do that. And it's cool in the sense that he was able to step up to the plate and say, this is wrong, and I'm realizing that right now, before our president was able to. And we're running out on time here, so I'm going to just wrap up like what I was saying. Yeah, we've got 2 minutes left. But this is insane what's happened. And if Trump wants to run for president again in 2024, like he said, I don't know if this is going to help him. I don't think this is at all. Some of those politicians, just like that West Virginia politician, that's not going to help him. I don't think that guy's going to get reelected. Showing a video of you storming the Capitol, I don't think that really helps you very much. And as McConnell said himself, Leader Mitch McConnell said himself, they failed. And he condemned the rioters who stormed the Capitol. Many Republicans have done that, but some yet have to do that. And I can understand some not agreeing with it and some thinking that this is okay to do it. No, some that do agree with what's going on in our country. But actually, this is not okay. Because our president, the leader of this country, our very own president, has yet to condemn them. He says he loves them. He says, we love you. But then he says it's time to go home. And he says it like, thank you so much. I love you guys so much. I love you. But now it's time to go home. When the vice president, not the leader, but the vice leader, the one who has to take control when things get tough, toughens up and says, no, this isn't okay. Whether you support him or not, this is not okay. You need to go home. This is not acceptable. But Trump says it all lovingly. Oh, I love you guys. Can you guys please? It's time. I'm sorry, but it's time to go home. That's how he says it. But he needs to toughen up, get to the plate, and understand what is going on in our nation. A woman has died. What is happening here? And I see people that are saying they disagree with me. But I'm sorry, whether you disagree with me or not, this is the truth. Our country is a literal shithole right now. My mom's probably going to get mad at me for cursing, but I don't give a crap. Our country is crap right now. And now we've got 20 seconds left. I gotta go. Glaze, you want to say bye quickly? Like, you got like 5 seconds, so just like...
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Yeah, guys, I'm sorry, but this episode was basically a rant. Thank you guys for listening. I'll be back live again on Friday. This was an emergency episode. Thank you guys so much. Perez out.